Sending this one out to my man Killer B. No doubt, indeed. Without weed, you know what I'm saying? That old real shit. There's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. You could run, but you can't hide forever from these streets that we done took. You walking with your head down.
American Studies 449, the gangster scene. This scene deals primarily with the problem of identity for Asian Americans. All the characters are straight-A students, however they have this darker side. Although both sides exist, neither is really true. They aren't exactly really straight-laced, good grade-getting go-getters, nor are they true gangsters. Also, an interesting thing about this scene is that it foreshadows not only Ben's deeper descent into madness, but it also gives a glimpse of what Derek is capable of. It's pretty interesting to see that all four friends aren't exactly invited to this party. They just show up. In a way, this shows their rebellious nature, and shows their desire to counter the model minority stereotype that their own identity is associated with. The next shot of Virgil throwing up is really interesting. As the four friends first enter the party, the camera is following the group, with Virgil at the head. Virgil is not comfortable with this position of power and throws up because he cannot handle the pressure. As Virgil throws up, the camera then lingers behind and ends up following the group, instead of leading it. Also, when Virgil throws up, it's almost as if he cannot take this gatecrasher identity. He is not really a rebel, but it is not only Virgil who doesn't know who he is. All the characters just don't know who they are. Even though Derek wears a Letterman jacket, the film quickly points out that he is wearing it from a sport that's not a man's sport, as the white jock derides him for not playing. As expected, two white jocks.
This thing's next door, right?
And here's the token black jock. There's even a Latino jock?
Shit, no, look at this!
The Five Jocks is a way for Lin to create the movie into a film not only about race, but also class. It's just not racial differences that divide the characters, it's also class differences. Financial class as in the case of Steve, and social class in terms of these jocks. Therefore, there's an Asian to counter the notion that all Asians are very studious, the model minority stereotype, and shows that Asian American identity cannot be pigeonholed into one simplistic phrase. Symbols are highly important in this entire clip. Derek, Ben, Han, and Virgil smoke and drink even when they are still in high school. Since these symbols are the symbols of adulthood, Derek, Han, and Ben's drinking and smoking is their way of rebelling against their model minority image.
Oh, it's a Chinese sword! Oh, shit! Hey, so what's up, man? Where's all your fan club at, man?
I'm gonna go check on Burge.
Yo, what's up, shithead? Oh, you gonna step up? You know you can play real sport. Where's that check?
While Derek fights the jock, the camera is in a rather neutral position to show that neither character is injured. When Derek goes down, the camera shows Ben's bloody lip, they're in trouble, and Derek needs to think of a way to bring the fight back to their favor.
Huh? You run the cops? You what? I'm sorry!
Up to this point, the level of violence that Derek brings out is shocking. However, it is important to realize that Derek was never fully intending to actually use the gun. It is merely a prop, something that proves he is a gangster. Derek needs the symbol to create his identity. It's funny to see Virgil materialize out of nowhere. He's the kind of guy who'll kick someone while they're down. Literally. This is a fantastic shot. Although it is easily passed over, the shot is too deliberate to be random. Also, since this is a film, Justin Lin would have no arbitrary shots in the film, unless they have purpose. In this case, Derek's hand extending into Virgil's head shows that Derek is controlling him. He is a puppet master, who controls Virgil to do his bidding, and clearly lays out that Virgil is a follower and not a leader. We saw him trying to lead the party at the beginning, but what happened? He couldn't take the pressure.
Come on, Ben! Come on, Ben! Fuck you, man!
Finally, Han's here to stop things from getting any worse. That seems to be his role in the film. He never participates, only oversees the group so that they don't go too far.
Ben.
Ben!
The first shot of all four guys is in the car is a fade-in from a blurry shot. This shows their disoriented state from all the excitement from the party. Notice how impressive all four friends look. Notice how Ben and Virgil flicker slightly to show that they weren't really the instigators. Like their involvement in the fight, they're only there for an instant. This is really an important shot because it essentially defines all their roles in the entire film. Remember how before I questioned Han's motives? This is essentially what he is in the entire film, a wheelman. He only takes the friends places and acts as a segue to get them from place to place, but is never in the forefront and never partakes in the action. He is always in the background and only gets involved when absolutely necessary. Ben and Virgil sit in the back because that is how it is during the film. They aren't really the instigators of the action and are just following Derek's lead. Derek sits shotgun and does just that. He leads the entire group and has the position of authority in the car. Although Han's driving, Derek is the one actually leading it. Notice how the lights flicker over Virgil's face. He still hasn't grasped the reality of it all and is lost in this little dreamlike state.
Just shut the fuck up.
Ben spots
Look
him.
at that guy's face. It's the fear of God in it, man. It's filled with God. And when
Yeah, sending this one out to my man Killer B. No doubt, indeed. Without weed, you know what I'm saying? That old real.
For the first time that night, Derek is actually scared because he is confronted by the identity of a real gangster, the one that he merely emulates. It is an identity that he can never truly embody.
did you see his face when we were working on him? It was like,
These are the true gangsters. Lynn chooses to bring them up to show the characters what phonies they actually are. Wait, let's look at that again. Even the mere act of throwing a cigarette is totally different. When Derek does it, his is all for show, but when the gangster does it, you know that something bad could happen, and someone might get killed.
stuff right there in front of all his homies. Not me, man. I was going off. I felt like
This intercutting
surging
technique
through my
Lynn
body.
uses is very interesting. The scene shifts back and forth between Derek, Han, Ben, and Virgil, and the gangster. Lynn uses this technique in an attempt to juxtapose the two groups and
Next
highlight
minute,
their
the gun was
vast
right in his
differences.
face, and I was going off.
Look at that gun. It's a Tech 9 Uzi, semi-automatic. If symbols make the character, that gun all but proves that they're real gangsters. Let's see what Derek holds. A puny 9mm. He's outgunned literally and figuratively because he wants his gun to prove that he is tough, but the gangsters are tough, and their gun just adds to their identity instead of creating it.
Ah, yeah.
What Lynn does with this final shot is to show another difference between the two groups, their cars. It's another way the two groups are different. Han drives a Mustang, a status of middle-class living, while the gangster drives an imported Ricer. Also, Lynn makes the gangster drive away again to show the phoniness of the group's gangster image. They are so non-threatening that the gangsters don't even see them as a threat and drive away. It's not only the cars that define the two groups, but their clothes too. The gangsters are decked out in true gangster gear, beanies and earrings, while Derek wears a Letterman's jacket. It's not only the cars that define the two groups, but their clothes too. The gangsters are decked out in true gangster gear, beanies and earrings, while Derek wears a Letterman's jacket. Although he may be excited by the lifestyle, he cannot truly embody it. He doesn't really know who he is. When he actually becomes a real gangster by killing Steve, he cannot take it. Like his throwing up, he cannot take the pressure of being a gangster and eventually attempts suicide. Thus, this clip is highly indicative of the entire film as a whole. Not only does it foreshadow future events, like the murder of Steve, but it also shows each of the characters' roles as participants, like Derek and Virgil, and bystanders, like Han. Also, this clip highlights Lynn's attempt to insert class issues, along with race issues, which is why the gangsters turn out to be of Asian descent, and which is why one of the jocks happens to be Asian. Lynn wants to show that Asian American identity exists on multiple planes, and that they cannot be defined by a simple phrase of model minority.